Okay, hello, and thank you for this invitation to present Atlanpole Biotherapies. My name is Jessica Walker, and I am European Project Manager and in charge of international affairs for Atlanpole Biotherapes. We are a competitive cluster in health innovation in Western France. So we cover 3 regions in the west of France. We have 4 contact points in the regions of Pays de la Loire, Brittany, and Centre-Val de Loire. So we are present across each of these regions, and we have members in all 3 of these regions across Western France. So Atlanpole Biotherapies is part of what we call the French BioClusters network across the whole country. So there are 6 so-called competitive clusters in France, and these are clusters that have received a label from the French government, and we are one of these 6 clusters. The aim of the clusters is to stimulate innovation in a given territory between businesses, industry, and research institutes around a common theme. So in our case, the health innovation, and between the 6 clusters, we have 1,300 members. So our cluster is a cluster of excellence in 6 main areas. We historically, and since the beginning, we've worked on immunotherapy, regenerative medicine, and radiopharmaceuticals. And since the end of 2018, we've broadened our scope, and we now work on 3 new areas of excellence, which are digital and e-health, nutrition and microbiota, and animal health. And I've just put some examples of companies that are within our network working on each of these topics. So to give you an idea of some key figures from our network, so we have over 200 members, and I'll talk a little bit about the members in just one moment. And in this area of France, we have 65,000 jobs, 6,500 of which are in private R&D in the health and biotech sector, which represents 25% of jobs at national level. So you can see that it is a very important sector in this region of France, and there's a lot of innovation and in this area. Our cluster members have raised over 150 million euros over the past 6 years, and we also have 3 publicly traded companies within the network. So you may have heard of Valneva, the company that have just completed the phase 3 trial recruitment for their inactivated COVID-19 vaccine candidate. Since the beginning, so as I mentioned, we were created in 2005. There have been 30 innovative products brought to the market, and 753 projects approved with an overall budget of over 700 million. So just to give you an idea of some key figures from our network. So the members of the cluster that we have, just to give you an overview of their ecosystem, we have over 150 companies, and I'll talk about those in just one moment. We also work very closely with higher education organizations, such as the University of Nantes, the University of Angers, the University of Le Mans. We work very closely with universities, also with health organizations, university hospitals, health establishments, and laboratories and research institutes that we also have within our ecosystem. The types of members that we have, so we have companies, biotech companies, medtech companies. We work also with contract research organizations, companies working in e-health and digital health, services and consulting, as well as companies working in the pharma industry. And as a cluster, what do we do? So our aim is to help companies to network and to meet other members of our cluster. So we organize lots of events throughout the year. These are called What's Up, and we do them at the moment mainly digitally, but also these physical events that we organize throughout the year on the topics that I identified at the beginning of my presentation. We also help companies to develop innovation projects. So whether this is individual or collaborative R&D projects or open innovation, we can provide tailor-made support for these kind of projects. And my job within the cluster is to help companies go international. So we are part of a European network. We attend congresses and fairs throughout the year, and we also help companies identify financial support for export. Here is a slide about our team. So we have 12 people working for the cluster, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And that's about it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to give this presentation. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jessica, for this presentation. I was interested to understand how do you work with European Competitive Cluster Network? Are you working at the regional level or the national level? How do you work with those other European countries?
So, as I mentioned, we're part of the National French Bioclusters Network. And when it comes to clusters in other countries, we work with them mainly through European projects. We do a lot of, Atlanpole Biotherapies is part of 3 projects. And we're also a member of the board of the Council of European Bioregions. So through this network, we know a lot of cluster organizations, and we can help companies to identify clients or partners in the countries through the contacts that we have through the clusters in these networks. That's how we mainly work with the European partners.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Cécile Dupin. I'm working for Business Friends Healthcare in North America. And today I will give you more insight about what we do at Business Friends. So Business Friends is the national agency for the internationalization of the French economy. So basically we help French companies to develop abroad, and we also support foreign companies to invest in France. We are located worldwide. We have offices in the 5 continents. And we rely also on a network of collaborators in France that work close to the French companies. And today I will focus on the healthcare market in North America, as I'm based in New York and helping a company for this market. So this is the first market worldwide, as it is represents half of the pharmaceutical market and half of the medtech and digital market. In North America, you can find all the big headquarters of big pharmas like Lilly, Medtronic in the medtech industry, big insurance like Anthem, etc. What we see also in North America is a strong engagement of patient and professional in innovative solutions. They are early adopters. And also in the US and Canada, the healthcare expenditure are more than double than in the European countries. And finally, even with the pandemic, we saw that investment continued to grow. So this is why this market is very interesting for companies in this space. Very interesting, but not without risk, as it is highly competitive. You will have also strict regulation with the FDA and Health Canada. The processes are sophisticated because you have provinces and states that act with different actors in the insurance, etc. It requires a lot of money to settle there. And it is very important to acquire North American references to make it on this market. So that's why preparation is the key. And we are a team of experts in healthcare. We help more than 250 companies each year to expand in the US and Canada. We are based in the major North American hubs. And if we go from the west to the east, I would like to present you. So San Francisco is more digital health and pharmaceutical hub with the presence also of the GAFAs. Chicago and Houston are more focused on the medtech industry, and Boston is the major hub for biotech companies. In New York, you will find more digital health investments, and in the New Jersey around, you will find all the manufacturers of the pharmaceutical industry. Business Friends has a programmation all along the year to support you on all the sectors. So JP Morgan for the investment part, Bio for the biotech companies, Next, that is an acceleration program for digital health and medtech, Prix Galien, which is a conference for pharmaceutical and to look for investors, And finally, RSNA that is more focused on medical imaging. We can help you all along the year. And I wanted to do a small focus on Next, that is specialized in digital health and medtech. So we help early stage startups to refine their strategy and to start to find first partners and collaborations. We'll start with a selection. So we present more than 20 companies in front of a jury that is that is composed of head of innovation, head of partnerships, head of digital health and medicine from big accounts. They will select 10 companies that are the most fitted for the North American market. And these companies will access to collective and individual sessions with experts to refine their strategy, market access, regulatory communication, etc. And finally, we will organize for them a roadshow of B2B meetings. And typically, we organize meetings with the hospital, pharma companies, medtech. So I presented, like, for example, Lilly, NYU Langone, Stryker, etc. Please reach out to us if you're interested in knowing more about the North American market, and we will be happy to help you on this matter.
Thank you, Cécile, for the presentation. I have a question for you. According to the last EY report, France is still the first country in Europe for foreign investment for industrial activity. Can you comment on that? And are you seeing an effect on US investment for French companies that are located in the US or have subsidiaries in the US?
Thank you. So what we see is that the US actors are really interested in innovation, and they know that in France we have really a lot of companies emerging because we have good scientists and a good ecosystem in innovation. So they are really looking at companies emerging from France, but to invest in these companies, they would prefer settling in Boston, for example. So I can name a few, for example, Withings, Biomodex, Anterome, and also Ictos. I think he's located in New York. And we can see that being here and settling in the US really is an accelerator for collaboration, for them to have a headquarter in the US.
Thank you very much, Cécile.